I asked Rob if he'd come speak to us, and we'll probably run until up to the break. It's about 20 after we have it, so come on down, Rob Water. This is welcome, Rob. We met after I wrote my first book on social media at New World Coffee Shop. We met before that, I think, but we were sitting there and he said, well, I'm going to teach a course on basic social media. And I said, well, I want to do it after this class. So we teamed up and offered a 10-session program. And I'd love it if you tell them a little bit, we'll keep it brief, but a little bit of the history of us getting started on it, so they know that. And then a little bit about moving what we've seen over 10 years of coming up to today, the change, not too much, but a little bit. And then like to talk about because you have your own marketing agency, he wanted to go help people do it. And so we stopped where I like teaching and he likes just helping them make money, basically. So would you tell them a little bit about it? So come on over.
Sure. So let me give you the quick background about who I am and where I come from. I was in college about the time that Facebook started. So I'm one of the first 50,000 users on Facebook, which means I've been using Facebook longer than just about anybody on the planet, which I think is kind of cool. And immediately started looking for ways to kind of like hack Facebook, not like hack Facebook from a hacker standpoint, but use Facebook to engage with my fellow students at that time, and then also had companies approaching me and saying, hey, how can we do this from a business standpoint as well? So looking for ways to hack Facebook for fun and profit, I called it. Launched my own digital marketing agency in 2009 called Connective Insights. We grew that to about $200,000 in annual revenue. We had 8 people on staff. October of last year, we were actually merged with our partner agency, and I work with them in an advisory capacity now on their digital marketing team, helping them oversee strategy for about 20 different clients in the healthcare space. And then recently, I've been working on a couple of cool projects that I'll tell you about at the end of the class too. But yeah, in terms of social media mastery course, like Martin said, we were just hanging out at the coffee shop. It's his book launch party, and I just moved to Raleigh for the very first time, and just said, hey, look, this is something I'm interested in doing. Let's do it together. So we kind of sat down, started planning out what are the essential things that somebody would need to know in order to manage a social media campaign for their business, for their company, etc. This was 2009, so social media looked a lot different at that time. It was more of a Wild West type thing. Nobody knew what they were doing. And so kind of put us in a unique position to where we could also kind of figure out and then try some things. And then also as a group with everybody in our class, try new strategies too. I said we started, with 60 people in 3 or 4 different classes.
And Bill Davis is Bill Davis is Team Nimbus Center. Bill Davis is Team Nimbus.
Yeah, so that was a cool experience. So just really helping folks like you who are trying to engage with what is this social media thing, how can I use it for in a business capacity, and just walking through what are the different channels, what are the different platforms, what are different strategies, and how they differ across those different mediums. But then I started getting more requests for services that complemented social media. So hey, I need a website. How can I get one set up? Social media graphics, etc. I had a background in those areas, so I started offering those as a service. That's kind of how Connective Insights was born. But yeah, social media is completely different today than it was in 2009. And I think if you go back and you look at some of the trends in social media, they will inform where social media is going in the very near future. First, I think social media has really grown up over the past several years. Social has now really found its established place in the marketing mix. Several years ago, it was really, let's just try things and throw it out there and see what happens. But now social media platforms are evolving, consumers are evolving such that they are more receptive to commercial content in their newsfeed on Facebook and their Twitter feeds as you're browsing tweets. And so we can build reliable and scalable marketing funnels for most industries. So if you kind of walking through this exercise that you just worked through, if you understand the journey that somebody takes in order to become a client, to buy your product, to sign up for your service, or to volunteer with your organization, if you understand that and where they are and how they make those decisions, you can hit them at the right time with the right message through the right channels, and really help people work through that process with your content. But then having a plan like this, and then also tailoring your buyer's journey to specific social media platforms is more important now than ever, because you really need to be more precise. You need to know exactly what target you're going after and what those next steps are so that you can help people take that next step. So you need to know your goals and plot a way to get there. Another way that social media has changed is that paid promotion has become necessary for most advertisers. This might be an unpopular opinion.
No, it's what we teach.
But I'm going to argue that unless you have a very, very large audience of tens of thousands of fans, or if you have a very inherently social product or service, or some other viral growth strategy.
Highly provocative on Twitter.
Indeed. Then organic social media isn't really going to be enough for you to really turn the needle in a meaningful way. And so you've got more pages, more voices like yours competing for the same space on Facebook, on Twitter, and that means less visibility. And so that's why boosting content, for example, or running Facebook ads, for example, could be ways to scale your reach and reach more people. But you can do it at a really, really low cost, particularly with Facebook ads, if you target well and if you have the right message for the right people. One exception, and I'll touch on this in just a minute, is if you have a product that's inherently social. So if it's something that people naturally talk about and there's an engine behind why they would talk about that.
Cute cats.
Cute cats, maybe. I don't think cute cats are enough, but it's definitely a catalyst, pun intended. So if you have that kind of viral growth engine, you may be able to get away with less or no ads at all. And I'll give you an example of that in just a minute. But there's something that hasn't changed in social media. You still need a noteworthy product and a good story, right? So from the very early days of marketing, go all the way back to the golden days of advertising, the 40s and 50s. If you have a good product and a good story, people pay attention and people talk about it. So there's a guy named Simon Sinek who's got a book that is called Start With Why, an associated TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. But he says people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? And so if you can create a compelling story around your brand, around your product or service, or around your organization, people will take notice and people will engage with that.
Who is it?
Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K.
S-I-N-E-K.
And the book is Start With Why.
Just real quick, I posted that TED Talk in the community the first class.
Cool.
So it's in there.
Extra points.
So paid ads will make it easier to get your product or service in front of people, but they don't fix an unremarkable product, right? If you see ads for something that's not relevant to you or is just not low quality, you're just going to skip by those ads. So ads can't fix a crummy product, but even boring products can have a great story. And one example that I recently met a guy named Justin Winter. He founded the company Diamond Candles.
Yeah.
Diamond Candles, they were the first company to take the concept of you buy a candle, you burn it down, there's a prize inside, and it's a ring. And it's either worth $10 or $100 or $1,000. And so it's kind of like kind of a lottery and a candle. I've got my sister-in-law has a closet full of these things, right? And just they took off from a social media perspective. Justin was able to grow his Facebook page from 0 to 40,000 fans in 3 months without paid advertising. And if you Google his name and look up Justin Winter podcast, he tells a story about how he does it. But basically, the product that he had was inherently social, right? Because people would get these rings, and there's not like an appraisal in the ring. You just get the ring, and you have to figure out how much it's worth. So people would go to their Facebook page and say, hey, here's my ring, here's what I got, I'm excited about this, what do you think it's worth? And people would just naturally start those conversations. And so because the product was something that was share-worthy and built into the product, they had that conversation engine. They were able to grow very, very quickly without paid advertising.
And every now and then, one of them was worth some.
Sorry?
I mean, some of their rings were really diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was,
one in 1,000 or something, right?
yeah.
Pretty cow.
And so,
He sourced them in Asia somewhere, but he had a bell curve on those things, so there was reason to go looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so there, you'd have to rely on cues like, does it say 14 karat gold or 10 karat gold or 24 karat gold? How big is the rock, right? And so a lot of folks would, get that ring out, share photos. Hey, what do you think this is worth? If somebody would say, hey, I think you got something there, they take it to the appraiser and get it appraised. So just an example of how the product itself naturally lended to conversation. I think another good example and another good tip, particularly those of you who are in marketing in an organization, is telling stories of changed lives. Like, how has somebody engaged with your organization and their life is different today because of it? Who was talking about the school? Was it you? So I think you've got an awesome platform to tell stories. So rather than just say, hey, get your degree, say, hey, this is how Marsha got her degree, and this is how her life looks different today. Really tell those stories on social. Focus on your customers, focus on changed lives as a result of using your product or service, and tell that story. Because at the end of the day, somebody who's looking at your content online wants to know what's in it for me, right? So how is this product that is being marketed, or this service that is being marketed, or this organization that I can connect with, how does this impact my life, and how is this going to impact somebody else's life? And if you can draw out those stories and tell those stories, focus on the benefits, not just the features, you'll have a much easier time on social, because it's things that people inherently want to talk about.
Another thing that, in looking over how it's evolved over the years, is how so much of social media was driven by the customer finding new ways to do things, and then the social platform adapting, like Twitter, retweets, and Facebook saying, the customer wants to do this, how do we build the engine to do it? And I think that's one of the challenges that happened in Google+. They put it all together studying it, but they didn't have the same type of customer buy-in, and it was a little late when it came out. So that's, to me, one of the things that was exciting is, in many ways, social was truly customer-driven.
Yeah, and kind of with connecting back to the class that we taught, at that time, Facebook Pages had just launched. And so prior to that, people are saying, hey, I can use this platform to promote my products or services. Let me go on, create a profile for my car wash, and then I'm going to go like all these people, and they're going to interact with my brand as if I'm a person. And Facebook very quickly realized that people don't want to do that. Like, as a consumer, me on Facebook, I'm there to watch cat videos, interact with my family, share photos of my kids, and waste time on the internet. I'm not looking to have some guy that owns a business who I don't even know having, one, access to all that information, and then two, having access directly to my inbox to be able to send me promotional messages. I just don't want that. So Facebook's response to that is, let's create a means for people to engage with a business or brand on Facebook that takes away some of those fears that I have as a consumer, that I don't want people having that information about me. But still, we're going to acknowledge, Facebook is, that people are going to use this platform for commercial use anyway. Let's build a way to do that that doesn't upset our user base and drive them away.
And Facebook really did that on the mobile platform. That's what made, I didn't think Zuckerberg would be able to do it, honestly, and he did. So that drove it tremendously. What do you think, in looking at today, because you work with clients directly, you have clients, what do you think are some of the most important things, skills that someone who's going to be managing a business's social media need to make sure they've mastered or understood?
Yeah, so I've already mentioned understanding your buyer's journey. I would call it understanding your funnel. So one, I saw several of you started with a persona. Mm-hmm. So who is this person, who we are trying to reach, and what are their qualities? One, that helps you create better content for them, but two, once you get into advertising, all of that demographic and psychographic information, so demographics being age, where they live, how old they are, are they male, are they female, psychographics being interests, likes, things that they might engage with on Facebook already. Having that profile helps you do your targeting. So we can, with Facebook advertising, Have you guys touched on Facebook ads yet?
Yes, we touched on it. We also do a lot on building the customer persona, so we have worksheets for it. So,
Yeah, so if you've already interacted with the Facebook ads platform, you know that targeting is like, there are unlimited possibilities of options that you can choose in terms of interests and behaviors to help you target somebody. So we're having a conversation with a realtor yesterday, and he's like, well, hey, what if I were to want to promote a home on a golf course? I'm like, let's do a quick test. Let's look at behavior, people who are likely to move, and interests in golf. All right, within our the Raleigh-Durham, Fayetteville metro area, that's 6,800 people who are ready to move and are interested in golf. Do you think they'd be interested in seeing that ad versus somebody else who, if you're just trying to target a general population of, hey, well, how are we going to target that? Are we going to target by age, maybe newlyweds? I don't know. What are those criteria? The more specific your buyer persona, the better your targeting is going to be, and subsequently, the more effective your advertising is.
great. Okay, thanks, Rob. This is great. And let's take a break. And Rob will be around, answer some questions for a bit. Hopefully you can stay for the rest of the class. So let's take our 10-minute break.